88 catches, 1,337 yards, an NFL record for a tight end, 5 TDs as a sophomore for Kittle. He's going to be the first 49er drafted, and rightfully so. He's earned that. And at a tight end position that's been so hit or miss outside of that, Kittle and Kelsey and Zach Ertz, outside of them, there's really was nobody you could depend on week to week. But Kittle was unbelievable, one of the fantasy steals of the draft. Is there any reason to expect him to improve? Could he regress now that teams are more aware of him? What do you expect from Kittle as his third season here?
Okay, reasons he could improve. Mm-hmm. He only caught 5 touchdown passes last year. Yeah. And the year before that, he had 2. He hasn't been established as a weapon in the red zone yet. They don't really trust him to make contested catches. They like to use him as like a run-after-the-catch guy, which is so unique for a tight end. Mm-hmm. And he's great at it, as we've seen. So if they can find new ways to get him the ball in the red zone, he could actually double his touchdown output. And you figure, even though he's not good at making contested catches, there ought to be other ways you can get him the ball in the red zone because he's so talented.
He's a big boy too, right? Like, isn't he like 6? He's a pretty big boy too, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like a go up and get it guy like Eric Ebron or even Zach Ertz, but there are ways to get him the ball in the red zone beyond just like a screen. Like they can be more creative with that, or a deep crossing route, which they tried with him last year. So I think there will be more creativity with how they use him. The downside with Kittle is, if you remember back to his rookie year, he was hurt the whole time. Mm-hmm. He's not the biggest tight end. In fact, you'd probably call him undersized. He's about 250 pounds, but he plays like he's 270. He's very physical in the run game. He takes a lot of hits. So will the injuries come back? It's the same issue with every player on the 49ers. I feel like I'm repeating myself. But more specifically to the tight end position, we saw it with Gronkowski. When he started to take over the league, like, defensive players like almost targeted him. Like he got hit really hard in some very compromised positions and some painful places. He was hurt a lot in his career. And a tight end running down the middle of the field, it's a very big target. Defensive backs go low. They take out knees. I mean, I'm not predicting that George Kittle's going to get a horrific injury, but I do believe clearly, as you pointed out, he's going to be much more of a focus of defensive game planning, and I feel like he's going to get he may get some serious hits this year, which is part of the territory as being a tight end. So yeah, definitely one of the top 5 tight ends you would want to draft in fantasy football, but always got to keep in mind that he was basically injured his entire rookie year, and he's only had 2 years in the league.
Absolutely. Do you expect him to make that positive regression for TDs? I saw you had an awesome Twitter post where you did all the different ways they could use him. Do you think the coaching staff is drawing that stuff up? What do you expect from him?
I'd like to think they are, but then you go back and look at Julio Jones under Kyle Shanahan, and he kind of had the same issue. Mm-hmm. Like, I was looking at 2016, he had 1,400 yards and only 6 touchdowns. Yep. And I mean, that's nothing against Julio Jones. I think it shows a philosophy that Kyle Shanahan would, rather than figure out ways to get the ball to his best player in close quarters, he would rather use that player as a decoy and try to get the ball to other people who have one-on-one options. And maybe there's logic behind that rationale. But Shanahan has struggled in the red zone his entire career. I mean, he's been an OC 11 years, and I think he's ranked. No, I know he's ranked bottom half in the league in red zone efficiency 8 of those years. Oof. So he should. I mean, if he's being honest with himself, he would need to do some serious self-scouting on the plays he's calling, the concepts he's calling, and how he's featuring George Kittle. But he's very sure of himself, to put it mildly, Kyle Shanahan, and I think he's probably going to keep doing what he's been doing and spread the ball around in the red zone. Maybe use guys like Debo, Jalen Hurd, even Dante Pettis, who are getting more one-on-one matchups down there.